All right. Uh, this is my top five biggest fears. It is also with when I believe that this fear affected my life or became something um, that I had to deal with. And then the last question on this would be how did I deal with it or what am I doing now to overcome it? The first fear would be being forgotten. This probably happened sometime in high school, sophomore year, junior year, maybe. Ooh, bless you. I blessed myself. Um, I think during your high school years, we all start to develop character traits or core traits of your character that will carry on to the rest of your life. And I believe your high school will be your first milestone, your first goal point where after this, your next point will be all because of this, whatever that you had during high school, how you treat people, how you talk to people, all that good stuff. Especially more so if you did things alone, more so. I wouldn't say alone, but say if your parents weren't necessarily there all the time to talk to you or to mentor you on your feelings and your ideas. And that's not to say that other people don't have mentorship within teachers or instructors, whatever that affected your life during that time. Being forgotten was a fear because I would like to claim that I like to do more than most or do more than is expected to a person or a friend. This is only regarding friends. Acquaintances, a little bit different story. I mean, obviously, it just seems temporary, but there is a respect in itself too. I believe you have friends that will follow you through your path. All your acquaintances will be around, but they have their own paths to go to. So I have the respect there. But the people who do decide to follow you, regardless of how long they do, I had a fear that I would be forgotten. So I pushed myself to be unforgettable. And when I say that, um, it wasn't necessarily, it's just kind of weird. If you know me a lot, I'm a pretty strong character. I like going out there. I like pushing you. I like pushing us to do something great. The issue is when maybe the end parts of the relationship or the friendship that you fear being forgotten because when they go, you won't know if they remember you. I mean, you might if they decide to call you or decide to bother you, but there's a good chance that they won't. And this is a pretty good fear. I I think about it now and I fear it, but it's uh, going on with how I would overcome it is to respect that you don't have control over it. People will forget you if you were forgettable. And I guess in a positive light, I'm glad that I feared it because it pushed me to become unforgettable. And I, I, I don't know why I did it, but I know it was enough that I should feel confident that no one will ever forget me. as far as when I create my friendships, because I'm a very unique character, at least to what I believe in with my friends, and that if our paths never meet up, and as far as because I can only worry about like my idea or my image, is that they will always remember me, and I need to understand that, but I can't ask for validation. I can't push for that validation, because that's only going to hurt myself. It's going to only hurt the friendship, and it's almost like a blissful ignorance in a way. But I'm not pessimistic, I guess, in life when I look at these things. More so, like I said, I fear it because I don't want to become forgettable. So I owe it to myself that the type of energy that I placed within this friend will always resonate with them throughout life. And it could be small things too. It could be, like certain situations come up, and I wish, and I could have some validation on this with friends, but I feel like the biggest part of me that sticks is when hard situations happen, when things just are shit. You're 6 feet under. I'm that guy to tell you there's still a damn chance. I'm the guy that will tell you that there's still a damn chance to get out of this. There's still a damn good chance to overcome it, and there's still a damn good chance to move on and become great. It sounds like a lot, and it definitely is, but I had that in me. I still have that in me, and I still will not get rid of that of me. Because if I fail, then I am a forgettable person. So I validate myself. If I don't want to be forgettable, I can't I can't lose that core value, that core thing that I have with my life approach, or my thing with friends. And I think that's the best way to overcome it, just to understand it that way. And it should hurt less. Feeling stuck. I think this came up probably when I was 22, I think. I felt stuck. I felt really stuck. I felt like I didn't go to college. Um, I worked at a job that was like part time, only paying like $200 a paycheck, and wasn't good. At 22, most people, like now that I see it, and I'm not gonna regret it or anything. It's just most people, they go to college, and then by the time they're 22, they have their bachelor's. They can go to a job similar to what I'm doing right now and get paid as much as I do at 22, instead of I'm at 29. And I'm not trying to say no one else, because there's people older than me in the same job, but that the idea is toxic. It's negative to feel stuck because of a timing situation that you couldn't really necessarily control. I mean, a lot of people say like, well, if you push forward and go to your dreams and all that bullshit, like you gotta understand that not everyone is in this exact scenario that you're in, where there's support, or that there's an influx of open positions available at your current area, and there's no such thing as saying, well, that's an excuse, you should move to a different state. And I'm like, oh, that's a lot harder for certain people, a lot harder for most people to just say, oh, okay, you know, it's your fault because you didn't save enough money to go move to that area where you could probably get your job. Like, I don't think that's how people work ever. They want to stay either close to home or close to an area where they feel comfortable in, and that's exactly where I was at when I got out of that situation and moved on to the next. I was willing to take in opportunities that I wouldn't have normally taken in any other relationship or any other friendship. And I could say I did it by myself. I had responsibilities for sure, but I know that not only that I took care of them, but I I pushed, I moved. I put myself in scenarios where, regardless of you know all the negative things that could happen around me, I'm here where I am, young enough to enjoy it, and still young enough to enjoy it with others. The fruit of my labor, kind of thing. Like I'm not in retirement age and whatnot, and I'm not trying to say you're 65 and you don't know where you're going, because I have my own heart for it too. But as far as my scenario goes, I I'm lucky. I'm fortunate. I'm very fortunate, and all the scenarios that has happened to me over the past 6 years, 7 years, was definitely something that I would have imagined it running its path. And I'm close to a lot of things being completed that even myself would not even imagine when I was younger. I thought I was going to be stuck in retail doing management positions or something like that. Not saying anything bad about that. I'm just saying in terms of how I feel, where I should be, I feel like I'm going in the right direction. And that's something I never thought or never even were confident to say. And I'm not saying my current scenario is perfect. I'm just saying it's in the right direction. It's in the right path. It's in a foundation where when I move forward, move on to wherever I need to be, it's in the right, you know, right tunnel, right path to go wherever I need to be, and I'll be happy. And that's the overcoming part. I need to respect the idea that I did what I did to not feel stuck. That's as simple as that. Next one is not being caring enough. This fear is probably a recent one. I once again can say I feel that I care a lot, even more so than I think that is required. And maybe I'm pretty sure someone would assume, well, maybe you're not caring enough if you're fearing it. I guess the way how I see it is, if I didn't care about not caring enough, I wouldn't do much. I would just not care. Yeah, I feel like if maybe fear is a strong word, but I guess it's constant, or it's a strong word enough where I fear it, because if I don't care enough, then what's the point of me? Like, that's how deep I get into it. I feel like if I care enough for someone, I feel that the relationship or friendship is it's on good standing, you know. And the overcoming part is probably just like I probably said about the being unforgettable, is that I gotta respect myself that I do care, and when I'm gone or if I'm away, I still care. um, and it shouldn't be something that I have to care where the other person needs to know that or understand it. They just got to see it for themselves. You know, like I'll always be there to care. I'll always be there to say what you're saying to me, what you're doing, all of that stuff, what you're living for. I care about. Like, even if I'm not there in your life and I heard it, somewhere else, I still care. Like, it doesn't, I mean, I don't need that validation to say, oh wow, he still cares for me even though I'm not going to talk to him ever. It's not that. It's just when I see you do your thing, I care enough where a part of me will always be connected to that friend or that situation where you do something and I feel proud for it. Like, you're not gonna get that validation from me, I guess, because if you don't happen to be talking, then it's fine. But I I should see it to myself that I can't just stop not caring, about someone who or a situation that I can't be a part of anymore. Like, if I just stop caring because the situation went sour or went away, then that's not me. I have to continue to care. Because if I don't promote that part of my life, then what's the point of me doing what I do or doing what I feel that is, who I am? And I think that's the overcoming part, is to respect that as well. Like, just respect that I do care a lot, and that's it. I respect myself that I know that I care a lot. Next one is not being strong enough. This probably happened. Well, not happened. Not being strong enough was probably a recent thing, a recent fear. All my life, I felt pretty confident that I'll be indestructible, in a way where nothing will bring me down, for too long anyway. And it's still apparent now that I'm still strong. I'll still get through. I'll still move on. But the reason why this fear came up is not because of how much strength I have now. It's just how far I will fall when I felt that everything I did was because of my strength. that 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 was definitely a test. I felt that I tried everything in my power, in my strength, to push something out of the darkness, out of the hole, out of anything that got in our way. But when things don't go my way, I become weak. I fault on my. I want to say, oh, maybe I do. Maybe I could admit I fault on my character. Like, I feel like I could make mistakes. I try not to make mistakes that will scar deep. But when I'm at this point where I feel that I'm not strong enough, I feel like I throw everything away. And this has happened before, but that was probably way worse than now. The difference between now and I feel maybe this will go into how I can overcome this fear is that I shouldn't depend on my own strength for others. I need to respect that although my strength, my character is a positive things for people, I need to respect that not all of them need that. There's other paths that can be taken that doesn't require my attention. And although as much as I would like to fix everything and push everything and give you strength, give you energy, give you that revolution speech to keep going, um, th- that's not always the right path for certain people. And I have to apologize because I am strong. But if you go if the person or situation goes a different path, regardless of how strong I am, if they're going or the situation is going in a different path, I will only tear the the situation up, figuratively. It just makes things worse. It makes things harder, and eventually it'll tear. But that's not what I want. That's not what I want with my friends or the people who I care for. As much as I would like to make things right, I need to learn how to let go and have them create or find their own strength. Maybe by my example, but they still have to find their own, and that's probably the most important part. And I just got to learn how to respect that space and um, understand that when people move on, it's not because they don't like me or that they don't want my help anymore. It's more so they need to help themselves and they need to move on into a direction that feels comfortable for them and something that they can hold on to themselves. Because that by the end of the day, I'm not going to be there, and they will have to carry themselves from their bed to have their feet on the floor and carry on to the next day. And that's for me that's awesome. Like just the small things like that is that's all I could care for. Just for you to get up from your bed and just continue, go on, make things happen. Next one is being too late. This probably happened, or the first time I probably feared it the most, or begun to fear this, was in high school. Again, uh, a lot of things you do in high school, you have opportunities. You have things that classes. You have extra activities, uh, meeting friends, going to parties, going to whatever. Um, at a time, I felt that there was a lot of opportunities going my way, but I never took it. I never wanted to take it, and that definitely promotes a regretful life. Um, and I always felt that, you know, it'll come again. The situation will pop up again, and it probably, I would actually be honest, it didn't. It never did. I moved on. I moved to different things. But scenarios will happen. Opportunities will come my way, and I don't take them. And this probably happened all the way throughout, maybe till I was 22 or 23, where things will just pop my way and nothing. I'd say for the past 5, 6 years, maybe longer, 7 years, 6 years. Opportunities came my way through scenarios where I believe it shouldn't have happened. Like, I was in scenarios where I was closed off. I was, I want to say secretive, but I was trying my best to make things secure. But during this time period, opportunities came and I took them. I took most of them anyway. And it escalated my life to where I am now. And I'm not saying this is the end either for me. It's definitely going higher or positive in my life. And as far as the overcoming part, I think that's where I overcame it. I think since, you know, getting out of my relationship back in 2011, I think, it made me take opportunities, random opportunities that I thought it was like, yeah, whatever. I just took it. I wanted to do it because I was like, okay, I'll put myself in a scenario where I'm not going to be comfortable, but I'll try. I'll try. And I definitely met friends and a friend that definitely promoted the lifestyle of just, you know, taking taking the scenario and just trying.